The fourth, number 18 and number 19, the point 4, practice for one's whole life, has two sections, right? What to do during one's life, we already talked about, and then what to do at death. So now we will talk about the second section, what to do at death. Then slogan says, the number 19, the Mahayana instruction for the time of death is 5 powers. How you conduct yourself is important. The instruction for how to die in Mahayana is the 5 powers. Mahayana, great vehicle, great path. Mahayana means great path, great vehicle. So the instruction, Mahayana, is the 5 powers again. These practices are very simple, and this is the same list we just discussed. So these 5 powers will also help us achieve bodhicitta at the time of death. So we must continually prepare ourselves for the moment of death, and we need to remember the instruction on the 5 powers and the also the associate conduct at the moment of death. That's the slogan. Mahayana instruction for the time of death are the 5 powers. How you conduct yourself is important. So these 5 powers associated conduct at the moment of death. So now we're talking about death, right? So there is a problem. Many people think that there is no such thing as consciousness separated from the brain. And that is the problem. But what is meant by consciousness? The characteristic of consciousness is self-awareness, according to Buddhism. A brain is not aware of itself, I think, but your mind is aware of itself. Self-awareness, we say, right? Self-knowledge, self-clarity, self-awareness, self-recognition. Brain doesn't have that capacity. And you know what you are thinking. You can remember your past life. It's just made of matter. You are going against your own experience of this self-awareness. From the Buddhist point of view, the brain and mind do interact with and affect each other. but they're not one. They're not one. We come here, for example, you have your room, we're here, and then we're finished this retreat, there we're living. Kind of similar. Our mind is like guest, and then our brain is like the room, your sweet home, your hotel. So one. So therefore, the end of the body doesn't mean the end of mind. So this instruction for how to die is very important for Buddhist point of view, you know. So we always say that the mind is, the consciousness is continuation. So again, this Allah is very important. This is the thing. This is the thing. Our other senses, consciousness, non-conceptual, we call it, right? This consciousness, they're dissolved. They're going to dissolve into the Allah when you're going to die. So, but that's not end, you know, end of your life. So, therefore, you know, this Mahayana instruction for how to die is very important. So first, the power of positive seed. Now, all of us will die sooner or later. We never know. It's very sure that we're going to die, but we don't never know when and how or where. So when we start thinking, I am probably going to die, we should generate the power of the seeds of virtue. We need to remember how to forgive ourselves and others and turn our minds towards the generating of love and compassion and bodhicitta. And we should try to be very clear ahead of time about how our property and our possessions are to be divided so that when it is time for us to depart, we can let go more easily. These are the kind of preparation according to these Mahayana instructions. So the main obstacle at the moment of death is regret, according to Tibetan, you know. Lots of people at the moment dead, they have great suffering and about the regret. Oh, I should have done this now, blah, blah, blah. It's too late. Even like many people told me, you know, I've been many times people die. But it's too late, you know. So now is the time, perfect time for prepare. And we have another obstacle is like this attachment toward the body and attachment, you know, toward the possessions of this life. So the best thing is we should not have any attachment or clinging to our worldly things. And we should offer our virtues and our bodies and our possessions to the three jewels. At the moment of death, you know, we have to like that kind of preparation make sure that you remember, you just let everything let it go, and it offered, you just, it's like this aspiration bodhicitta, you just offer everything to the three jewels, whatever you believe, By doing this, we generate the power of seeds of virtue. So we need to plant seeds as well as meditate whenever possible. Seed, power of seed, virtue. So that's you have to remember or keep in your mind, the moment of death, you really need to let everything, go, like this attachment and the obstacles, regret. You just need to let it go. It just doesn't work, So that's the thing, the first. And then power of dedication or the aspiration, right? I think they are the same. Dedication or aspiration. The second. At the time of death, we dedicate our virtues, actions, and positive karma into future sort of rebirths, if you believe. If you don't believe in rebirth, then you can just dedicate your merit to the dying process itself. So we make a good sort of aspiration prayer, whether it is for the sake of this life or the next life. By the power of the virtue I have accumulated in this life, in birth after birth, may I never forget precious bodhicitta. May I always have the bodhicitta that cherishes others. May I meet a teacher who can teach such a profound dharma or bodhicitta. So this sort of prayer is the second power, the power of aspiration. So this kind of prayer you have to kind of prepare, right, in your mind, so that at the moment that you will remember. And then we have the power of recognition. At the time of death, we generally experience suffering and sometimes, this sickness. The root of this is clinging to our egos, because we attach to our body, so therefore we experience the suffering. So we need to recognize that all problems come from ego, again. Therefore, we think I need to be able to abandon self-cherishing, because this self-cherishing is the root of suffering. So we really need to recognize, this is the power of recognition, to recognize all the negative actions we have done in this life, and that it is time to purify them. Being able to know this is the power of recognition. And then the power of stone, the determination. At the time of death, during the intermediate states, right? Intermediate state, the between death and our next rebirth, if you believe. We absolutely must never forget our bodhicitta. Reminding yourself repeatedly of the two kinds of bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta. So if we create a strong determination to remember bodhicitta at all times, no matter where we are, when bodhicitta will occur to us in the bardo state, the intermediate state, means you really remember the kindness, and the kind heart. So we will be able to think such positive thoughts at the time of death and in our next life as well, because of the strength of our determination to remember the two kinds of bodhicitta, because we have that strong motivation. Then bodhicitta will be able to arise wherever we are. I mean, that means like in the Bardo state, the intermediate state, the between death and birth, there's only consciousness, there's nobody. So right now you are developing this a kind mind, a bodhicitta mind. That is just you are developing the mental, the state, the mind. So at that moment, in between the birth and death, the intermediate state, you will remember a bodhicitta. So for that reason, we should generate the power of strong determination. In order to remember bodhicitta at all times, we also need the next power, the power of familiarization. These two powers are very similar and are related to each other. Determination is about remembering your meditation, all your mind training meditations, your meditations. You have to remember these under any circumstances, whether they are easy or difficult. That is the determination, the power of determination. But in order to remember your meditation, in order to have this capacity, you have to practice this over and over again. That is the meaning of familiarization. You see? So in this life, we have meditated on love, compassion, whatever, bodhicitta, and try to abandon the self-cherishing. When we are actually dying, we will need to be able to meditate on and think about this over and over again. But death is very strong. So in order to sort of not to forget them at that time and be able to gradually increase this practice in our next life, we need the power of the familiarization. So we need to know how to practice at the time of death. So these two powers, determination and familiarization, are similar. They're related to each other. So therefore, you need both these kind of powers. And then the slogan also says how you conduct yourself is important, the time of death. So now you have the 5 powers, these instructions for the moment of death, and then you also your conduct is very important. So at the time of death, the conduct is lie in the sleeping lying posture, which Buddha did at the time of his parinirvana. It is called the lying down, lying posture, laying down, lying posture, right? Which means they're very powerful animal, right? I'm a Tibetan believe they are the most powerful animal. When they sleep, there's no afraid. They think they are the king. Nobody can harm them. So there is nothing, no afraid. It's very freedom. There is freedom like that. That's why. That's the kind of point. When you are going to die, no afraid at all. Everything is like you are the king. You are the Buddha. You are the Bodhisattva. You are very. Milarepa said that whenever I'm very happy. So lying on your this posture, left side, like you're not, if you have this circumstance, if you have this chance, your left side with your left hand underneath your head, like this, You see the Buddha's the stages, the Thailand and Sri Lanka, and they have lots of this kind of statues. Right side. Right side. See, sometimes the students smart than this is.
You do the left side, you go to the bikini.
Commitment.
So which side is it?
Right side. And so then your left hand, right, rest on your hip. That's the line posture Buddha did. It's not necessarily some in Tibet. This great teachers, they just pass away like this. But it's very hard, if you have no prepare. So when you think that, the actual moment of death has arrived, you have to remember your practice. So actually, you just need to remember two things at this time, either the relative bodhicitta or the ultimate bodhicitta. So if you have a very good meditation, then you can rest in the nature mind, right, at the time of death. That's ultimate bodhicitta. So that's, and if you die within attitude of wanting to help others, of wanting to increase love and kindness, that is relative bodhicitta. So this, I really like this slogan, this Lobjong teaching, because there are two kinds of teachings, right? One is how to practice in this life, and the one is how to practice at the time of death. So that's actually we want. That's kind of, practice, that kind of instruction, very, very important. So there is a teaching in terms of relative bodhicitta and in terms of ultimate bodhicitta. So two things you have to actually remember all the time. So if you die with a relative and ultimate bodhicitta in your mind, this becomes the cause that will enable you to accomplish excellent benefit for others and for yourself in the future. So 5 powers, okay? They are powers are same. The 5 powers same, but a little bit different meaning, So one is for your, this life, practice in this life. Your daily activities. One is how you the practice the time of death. So you should remember these 5 powers.